Do you wish you could go full-time as a content creator or simply make more money from your content? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you my exact strategy that brought me in $254,000 from just 10,000 followers. If you're new here, hi, I'm Molly. I started as a broke college dropout with just 81 cents to my name, and I leveraged that into a 6-figure per year photography studio. I then started creating content to help other photographers, and I grew that into a $2 million per year online education business. And now I help content creators just like you to monetize your content with digital info products so you can help your followers on a deeper level and make a full-time living doing what you love. So here's the thing. I see creators with these giant followings and they're only making maybe 4 or 5 figures per month. And they think the reason that they're not making more money is because they need more followers, more followers, more followers. And I'm here to tell you that you can be making around 6 figures per year from just around 5,000 followers. How do I know? Because I've done it. And if you're somebody who has more than 5,000 followers and you're not making 6 figures or more from your content, chances are that the problem is not around growing more followers. Obviously, it's always good to grow more followers. But like I said, I know people with 100,000, 200,000, even 500,000 followers that are only making maybe $1,000 per month. And the problem then does not lie in your following. The problem most likely lies in your marketing. Now, back when I had my multiple 6-figure per year photography studio and other photographers started asking me how I did it, that's when I grew a blog and started to grow a following. And trust me, I did many things wrong with that business, but one of the things I definitely did right with that business is I knew my ideal client and my niche from day one. And this is a huge problem I'm seeing with creators who aren't making as much money as they want to be. They don't have a clear niche and they don't have a clear ideal client. So again, for me from day one, I knew exactly who I was marketing to, photographers, in fact, portrait photographers, and I knew exactly what my niche was. I wasn't just teaching business. I wasn't just teaching photography. I was specifically teaching boudoir photography. So you can see I really niched down into a specific area. And when you get really specific like that, it becomes so much easier to create content, to create the right content to attract those right certain people. And of course, it becomes a lot easier to make sales. So when I started that following to help those other photographers, I had no idea how big it could be. I thought 5,000 followers was like 1 million followers. Like I just had no concept of how big a following could get. And 5,000 followers to me seemed like a ton. And I think if you make content full time and you're in that scene, then you know that 5,000 followers really isn't a lot. But for me, I feel like this was a superpower that I thought 5,000 followers was a lot because I was able to grow that into a 6-figure per year business with just 5,000 to 10,000 followers. So again, I started out growing a following specific to my ideal client and my niche. And then I created freebies, which somebody would put in their name and email address to download a free digital something from me to get further help. And that is not only how I grew my following, but also then my email list. And once I had that email list, I was able to survey those followers and learn about the different problems they were having, learn about the different things that they were curious about in my business. And of course, what their number one most painful pain point was, that was high value that I could solve for them. And that is how I was able to bring in $254,000 in my first year with just 5,000 to 10,000 followers. Now, the reason I say 5,000 to 10,000 is because, obviously it grew over the course of that year. And keep in mind, this was 85% profit margin. I still remember to this day, my accountant calling me on the phone and being like, you have the highest profit margin out of all of our accounting clients. Like, what are you doing? And I didn't really know back then that 85% profit margin is amazing. And I want you guys to know that if you follow this model, not only can you go full-time a lot faster than if you were just relying on, say, sponsorships or monetization from AdSense, but when you sell digital products to a following, you can have a really high profit margin. Again, I made $254,000 my first year with 85% profit margin. For most people, that would be enough money to replace their full-time income in just 1 year. So if you've been at content for a really long time and you have more than, say, 5,000, 10,000 followers, maybe you have 500,000 or even 1 million followers and you're not making anywhere near the income you want, I'm here to tell you that I don't think you have a lead generation problem, a follower growth problem. I think you have a marketing problem on your hands. Again, it does not need to take years to go full-time with your content, and you don't need tons and tons and tons and tons of followers. You need to get really, really clear on who you help, the problems you solve, and actually start helping people. I know you're talking to a camera like I am now, but start to really envision the people that you help and really talk to them and survey them and learn about them and truly figure out what their struggles are and how you can help them get to the goals that they want. And if you're a content creator who wants to go full-time with your content, I'm about to share with you my 3-part framework on how to do just that. Okay, so the 3 parts of the framework are: choose your niche and your ideal client, grow your following and your email list, create a digital problem to solve a valuable and painful problem for your ideal client. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is choose your niche and your ideal client. I know so many people talk about this, but so many people still are not doing it right. I feel like there's a lot of fear around choosing one niche and one ideal client. And there's a lot of people who would say like, well, you know, I can help anyone, but truly trying to serve everyone is serving no one. Look at my previous education business that did $2 million per year. I didn't just teach how to get more clients for anyone. I didn't just teach how to get more clients for all photographers. I taught how to get more clients specifically to boudoir photographers. And a lot of people now ask me, well, how small of a niche is too small? I truly do not believe that too small of a niche really exists. There's this book called The Blue Ocean Theory, and essentially you want to find your own blue ocean. For example, if you're like, I'm going to teach productivity, there's a million courses, books, digital products around productivity, but how can you go from a red ocean, one that has bloodied waters and tons of competition, to a blue ocean like I did with boudoir photography? There were maybe only a few other educators at the time educating on that topic and specifically educating on how to get more clients. So that's how I was able to create my own blue ocean. So think about it. If you want to teach productivity, that's great, but how can you go deeper? How can you make that a blue ocean? Maybe instead of teaching productivity for everyone, you're going to teach productivity specifically to, I don't know, graphic designers. I have no idea, but really do your research and figure out how can you be unique? How can you create your own blue ocean? This is going to make making a full-time living from your content so much easier. And the great news is that as a creator, one of the things that's really going to set you apart to having your own blue ocean is you. You are a creator creating content, and people are going to work with you because they like you. So for example, I help content creators to create and sell digital products to help their following on a deeper level and make a full-time living doing what they love. Now, that in itself is a bit of a blue ocean because there are a lot of people teaching digital products, but from my research, I've noticed most of those people are marketing to moms or marketing on Etsy or marketing to everyone. I don't see a lot of people teaching digital products specifically to content creators. So that's one of the ways that I can go nichier from just the broad sense, right? But another way I'm going nichier is that I am myself creating content. There's also a decent amount of men out there that are teaching on this topic, but I'm not seeing a lot of women. So ask yourself, what are different ways that you can niche down and become different and have your own blue ocean? Okay, so number 2 is grow your following in your email list. Now, I know a lot of you listening here aren't really having a problem growing your following. You're more so having a problem getting more sales. Again, I know literally so many creators with like 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 followers, or 10,000, 20,000 followers that aren't making the money that they deserve. And just so you know, it's not just about the money, but the more that you can get your products into your ideal clients' hands, of course, the more that you're helping them as well. And I really think this is where number 2 of the framework comes in, growing your following and your email list, because this is the missing piece that I see for a lot of these big creators. They're creating all this amazing content and they're getting great engagement, and you know, they're making some money from sponsorships or monetization or whatever that is. But the biggest thing I'm noticing is that they're not doing any calls to action. I know that a lot of you are like, well, I don't want to feel salesy. Well, what if your call to action is just for a free download? There's nothing salesy about that. You're simply offering them more help from you for free. And this is my entire strategy. I personally don't like to sell any of my digital products outside of my email list. I might test things from time to time, but really what I do is I spend the majority of my focus creating really helpful free content and then mentioning, hey, you can get more help from this freebie here, and then people get on my email list. Then from there, I'm gonna do what's called nurture emails, where I'm gonna send them even more help, get them even more wins. Then once I've nurtured them for a month or so, then I could invite them to one of my paid programs and say, hey, by the way, if you're wanting more help with this, you can join this thing here. And this to me feels really, really good. I personally don't like when I'm watching a piece of content and they're like, buy this, buy this, buy this, sponsored by this, commercial, commercial, commercial. Like, I don't really enjoy that. But if I'm watching a video and it's really helpful and they're like, oh, by the way, if you want more help, check out my freebies in the description below, then of course I'm gonna go to the freebies in the description below to get even more help. It's totally free. So you're not being salesy. And again, I think this is where most creators are going wrong, is they're doing a great job growing their following and making content, but they're not mentioning their freebies to build their email list in every single video. You can scroll back through my videos and I mention at least one freebie in almost every single video. Your email list is the most valuable asset for your content creator business possible. You can Google this stat. Email marketing is 40 times more effective for making sales than social media. So don't worry about being salesy. Don't use your content to sell. Use your content to form that relationship and give a bunch of free helpful content and move people to your email list. And that's where you can then help them further and also mention any digital products or programs that you have. And of course, part 3 is to create a digital product that is valuable and solves a painful problem. Now, some of you might already have digital products, but they're just not selling. And maybe some of you just don't even know what digital product to create. And if so, I have a free download for you to get 54 different types of digital product ideas in the description below. Oh, and if you have a following but you don't have an email list, I also have a link to a free done for you funnel so you can move your followers to email subscribers, and that's in the description below as well. Okay, so how do you come up with a digital product that's gonna be valuable enough for people to pay for it and also really solve a painful problem for your ideal client? The key is to talk to your followers, to survey your followers, and the number one thing I recommend is grow your email list and then use Google Forms to send a survey to your followers to really find out where they're at, what their struggles are. And then you can read through that data and figure out, okay, which of these problems can I solve? Which of these problems are the most valuable? Which of these problems would they pay for? Which of these problems could I create a digital product that would solve the most painful problem for them? Because again, I've shared this in previous videos, and in the beginning, I just created a bunch of digital products that I thought sounded fun. They didn't sell very well. And it wasn't until I made a digital product that solved my ideal client's #1 pain point of needing to book more clients. And that's when I had an ebook make over $500,000 in sales with no paid ads. So again, the 3 parts of that framework are: choose your niche and ideal client, grow a following and an email list, create a valuable digital product that solves the #1 pain point for your ideal clients. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a subscribe, because I put out videos just like this one 1 to 2 times every single week. Now that you know my exact 3-part strategy for how I made $254,000 my first year with just 5,000 to 10,000 followers, you might be watching this and thinking, this is awesome, Molly, but I really do need to grow my following a little bit more, or I'd really like to know your secrets to how you got over 800 new subs in the last 28 days with a pretty new channel. But how do you do that? Well, it all starts with watching this video next here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, it's gonna be so much more powerful. See you in the next video.